On this episode of the Procedurally Generated Show, Cole marries off several daughters in an attempt not to, Ethan lives, dies, and repeats, and Tony objects to everything. We also talk about the week's biggest news, such as a Sony game being published on Game Pass. Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Procedurally Generated Show. I'm your host, Tony, and joining me this week, I've got Ethan.
Hey, Tony.
What's going on?
Nothing.
I practiced lock-picking skills earlier today.
I saw the pictures, yeah.
I have the wound on my finger to prove that I did something dangerous. Because we moved into a new house, and there was a gate that has a lock on it that there is no key for, so I have no way to get that lock off of that gate. I had attempted to use bolt cutters. It didn't work. The bolt cutters were just not strong enough to get through the lock. So today, I was walking around the house, and Jake had asked me, what lock is it that needs to be opened? And I told him which one it was, and I said, are you going to try to do something? And my wife just out of nowhere said, do you have two wrenches? And he pulled 2 wrenches out of his pocket. And apparently,
he just walks around with wrenches in his pocket. Who knew?
Well, he had gone to my toolbox to get them because he knew I had some wrenches out in the toolbox. But apparently, you can break a lock with 2 wrenches. And I did it. And it was awesome.
That's cool.
Had no clue you could even do that. I was like, how are we going to get this lock off? And he watches some guy on YouTube, the lock-picking lawyer or something like that. And they had shown him this trick. And so we tried it, and it worked. It took a couple tries because you have to
get the master's skill first.
Yeah, you do. I was a novice. Now I'm a master. You have to get the wrenches in there so that they're kind of parallel, or not parallel, perpendicular to each other at 90-degree angles, and then just kind of squeeze them together. And apparently, if you do it right, there's enough force that you can break the metal on the lock with just the 2 wrenches. And it worked. It was cool. I can now go from the front yard to the backyard without having to go through the house. So
cool.
So that is what I did today. Cole, what did you do today?
With the information that I've just been given, I think I'm gonna go break locks. I think that's what I've done today is not break locks, but I've heard of that. So
see, I had never heard of that before, so I was like, I was just gonna go out and I was gonna go to the internet and buy a lock-picking kit or something. I had no idea what I was gonna do. But
when you first said you were lock picking today, I was like, oh, okay. So if he's having trouble with a lock pick, he just needs to use his blood skills. So that way he can get those more advanced ones done. Or maybe there's like a potion. Oh no, you're doing it IRL. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know of any lock-picking potions in real life.
I know a couple potions that'll make you think you're picking lock.
So yes, there had to have been like a +1 show up over my head after I broke that lock or something today.
Yeah, lock picking up.
My lock picking skill has gone up by 1 point. So, well,
you didn't even actually pick a lock. You broke the lock.
That's true. I didn't technically pick the lock. It is not usable anymore. It's right here on my desk. I kept it. There's 2 pieces here. There's the body and then the little other part, and they will not go back together anymore. So
I think once you start breaking locks, that's the mastery in lock picking.
I think though, if you really want to be a master at lock picking, you have to be able to open the lock and then be able to use it again.
That's semantics.
Barbarians are really good at picking locks, if that's the criteria.
But there's a door in front of you. It's locked. What do? I destroyed the door.
Smash the door. Leave the lock there. It's just hanging.
The barbarian lockpick. Smash. Bard lockpick. I seduce the door.
The wizard just teleports himself to the other side of the door.
Exactly.
The DM just face palms and.
So new rule: no bards allowed.
Yeah, we don't want to see that ever. Well, what have you been playing this week, Cole?
So I try to bring up a little medieval stuff to it, so that way I can allude to the game that I'm playing. It's a game on Game Pass called. Hold on, let me see the show notes. It's called Yes, Your Grace.
Okay.
And so there's a couple of games that are fairly similar to it. If you've played, I think it's Reigns. Reigns is sort of similar. Where you have to balance certain aspects. If you get too much money, you lose. If you get too little money, you lose. If you get too much army, you lose. If you get too little army, that sort of thing. Not as intense as a yes/no situation, but for the most part, it's a keep your kingdom alive by balancing the happiness of your commoners and the treasury and your resources and stuff. So it's just an interesting story driven game that's gives you a little bit of decisions. You get to choose where you want to send generals or whatever and to scout. The game starts off with you're at some war with like this huge forces, and it's like, what are you gonna do? What do you want to raise? Do you want to give this rousing speech to your troops, or do you want to tell your just get straight into the battle? Do you want to say archers to arms, or third choice? Do you just want to raise a white flag and say, let's not shed blood. Let's hang out. So I decided, hey, yeah, let's see what this does. There's no achievement, but you do lose the game immediately.
Of course.
So, peace was never an option. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'm
looking through pictures of it right now on Game Pass on PC. It looks a little bit of a mixture between like a point and click adventure and maybe like a turn-based strategy game, sort of.
It's definitely just a point and click adventure. There's no, at least, I mean, I've sunk at least 20 hours into it, and I haven't gotten any like battles, but I've gotten a few times where I was like, oh, I wish I had done this, and so recently, it was just like, I can do that. So I went back to one of my earlier saves and did something different. I was like, oh, cool. So now I've got a new option in the game, and I don't want to give away too much, but you unlock different people, and it seems like it's a much longer game than what I'm at, with the choices and everything that I'm doing. But yeah, it's pretty interesting.
So in the intro, we alluded to you giving away a lot of daughters. How many have you married off at this point?
So you have 3 daughters. Everybody's very young, but that's in medieval times. That's kind of like, oh yeah,
that was the thing.
She's 13. Why haven't you married her yet? So my oldest daughter, I apparently
she's old enough to drive now and still not married.
I promised her to like the antagonist of the game or whatever. And so I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. So here's what I'll do. I'll marry her off to this guy who's got lots of troops. I'll marry him to this guy. That'll strengthen our kingdom. I'll get to keep my crown and everything, and I won't have to give that to them. So married her off. That plan fell through. So she's married off, but we don't have the troops. So I have to go through the game creating all these alliances.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the alliances I try to create, she's like, I'll give you this many troops and this gold. And it's like, okay, what's the catch? And it's like, you gotta have your daughter marry my son. I'm like, so I've married off 2 daughters instead of marrying off one daughter to someone I don't want them to. And then I'm reading through the game, and it's like someone else comes up because you're taking turns like entertaining audiences, and so the first person, the one I called over, she was like, "Yeah, marry my son to your daughter, and you can have these troops." And I'm like, "Sure. I mean, why not? I've got
At
three
this
daughters."
point, what do I got to lose?
I mean, yeah, it's a medieval thing. You marry your daughters off to other kingdoms, so that way you get a dowry or you get alliance.
You see, now that you've run out of daughters, though, you have no bargaining chips, and so
Well, so I've only married off the two. The second one was the one that married for the guy, and then the next person in line was like, "You shouldn't trust her. Like, he's cursed. If he doesn't get married by his 13th birthday or whatever, he dies. But if he does, then the bride dies. The curse gets passed to the bride." And I'm like,
Oh,
"Well,
no.
I don't want my daughter to die." So that's one of the reasons I'm like, okay, I got to go back and I got to fix some stuff. And then the youngest daughter, she's definitely not in the marrying age, but I'm sure it'll be one of those things where it's like, my son's 6, your daughter's 5. When they're both 13, we'll
they
get
getting
married.
hitched.
Yeah. But the great thing is, at one point in the game, it lets you choose one of 3 nicknames. And without even seeing what the other 2 nicknames were, I chose Potato Head.
Of course.
So every time I talk to her, instead of calling her, I don't even know what her name is. It's like Cecila or something like that. It just says, "What's wrong, Potato Head?"
It's pretty bad if you don't know your daughter's name.
I mean, I'm a king. I'm a busy man. I got 3 daughters, and
That's a good point. There might have been a lot of kings in history that didn't know their children's names.
I think most of them, probably. I don't know any of King Dedede's kids' names.
Does King Dedede have kids?
No.
I have a hard enough time keeping track of Bowser's kids' names.
That's like, could you name all of Bowser's kids?
I probably couldn't.
Bowser
I can name
Jr. There we go.
I can name at least one of them. Bowser Jr.
Didn't we confirm that the others are not actually his kids?
Right.
I have heard so many different things over the years. I have no idea.
I think Nintendo said they're not his kids. They don't know who they belong to, but they're like family.
I'm pretty sure they're Bowser and Peach's kids.
From the future alternate timeline where he succeeded.
Yeah.
Bowser Jr. We know Bowser Jr. is his.
But we don't know the mother.
We don't know who the mother is.
He's a spitting image. What was that? Birdo. There you go.
Okay.
Even though Birdo is a boy.
Man, Mario lore is just weird.
That's true. Maybe we can get Miyamoto on here and we'll ask him.
Boy, wouldn't that be something?
That would. I'll put some calls in, see what I can do.
All right. One of us used to have card games with Miyamoto, I think. I think it's Shelby did. Had a weekly card game with him, but since Shelby's not on the show anymore, we've lost that connection to Miyamoto. So
gotcha.
Yeah, I'm not about to fake that conversation.
All right. Well, anything else?
No, Destiny, same old same.
Okay.
Mostly been playing that, and then I just got Breath of the Wild. So.
Oh yeah, I'll be able to get Anarchy on Tuesday.
Anarchy?
Yep, I'll finally get it. Destiny.
Oh, the weapon? Yeah.
Stuart got it earlier this week because he did the raid.
Right.
Cheater.
I mean, if you're not tired, we afterwards.
That means we got to get through the show quick.
Yes. Okay. So that's it for me. How about you, Ethan?
Well,
I don't think he wants to. I don't think he wants to play Destiny, Cole.
That's fine.
I played a little game known as Rogue Heroes: Ruins of Tassos. I'm not sure how to say that. It's a game on
Bruce.
Steam, and
So we played this for the pre-show last week.
yes, so there. I mean, footage exists for it, so that's great. It is a 1 to 4 player roguelite, not like light, Lite adventure. You can think of it like Zelda, kind of, in a sense.
There is definitely a lot of Zelda inspiration in the game.
Yeah, it takes a lot of inspiration from Zelda in the way it handles stuff. There's some town building elements you get to do in there, so that's pretty cool. And it's not force gems, but there's gem farming that you got to do. But everyone shares the gems, so it's not a fight for who's gonna get the most gems. So it's like if I grab a bunch of gems, everyone gets those same gems.
Yeah.
But this is a fun little game to play. Uh, um, it's currently on Steam. We'll just start with that. It's about, I don't know. Let's see, what's the price? It's a $20 game on Steam, and right now you can get the deluxe edition for $20.88, which includes the DLC, which is just an additional class that you have to unlock in the game because it's a class-based thing. Everyone starts out with the hero class, and then you have other classes you unlock along the way by getting these threads and going to a tailor and paying money, and she gives you access to these classes. My personal favorite's the rogue, which in the video I should be playing as the rogue class.
Okay.
Which they're better with bows, and then here I am just never using a bow. I actually use them for the dodge ability they have and their speed. They're pretty quick. There's a thief class, mage class, I think there's a necromancer class or something where you play as like a skeleton and you just fall apart and reassemble. It's pretty cool. And there's like knight, and then the DLC is a bomber class, so you're better with bombs. So each class has like a very specific ability they get. Like if you're playing the hero class, you have a charge where you just start running with your sword pointed out, similar to having the Pegasus boots in the older Zelda games.
Yep.
Gotcha. Let's see. Oh, okay. This has online co-op. It also has split screen local co-op. And it also has the remote play thing, so you can do it that way as well if you'd rather. So you're playing online, but you're treating it like you're not online, if that makes any sense.
It's like playing local co-op online.
Yeah, so you have like 3 different ways you can play that game right there.
But basically, that gives you a way to play the game with someone who doesn't own a copy of it.
Right.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
One of the weirder features of this game is your save data, the way it handles it is... Okay, so like my first time playing this, I joined Jason's game.
Mm-hmm.
Built a character up from nothing. He already had a game that was established, had to go find this guy. We built various houses on there or something, or buildings, or your stores, or whatever. And whenever I got into my game, my own single player game, the person that we rescued on his, I never had to do that mission, even though he had done that mission, but I got to talk to the guy ahead of time after that. So that guy just exists in my world already.
Yeah.
So I'll never have to do that mission. So I mean, that's fine with me, but kind of a letdown at the same time, in my opinion. But that's fine. And any buildings that you help build in someone else's game, when you come into your own game, if you haven't built that, you can then build it for free because you've already paid to have that built. You've already worked towards that goal, so that's pretty nice.
That's always a really nice little feature in online games like that.
Yeah, so it's got like, it's good and bad the way it's handling that, but I can't really complain too much because it did help get me items ahead of time the way it handled the thing that I was kind of complaining about with the person already being rescued. You get various weapons, like I've already mentioned a bow. There's a boomerang, a grapple hook. Basically works like the claw shots, so that's interesting. If you unlock these weapons over time, and you have to have materials, and you pay this one guy to build the weapons for you, and then you have them, and then you can upgrade them.
Mm.
But while you're playing the game, if you go into a dungeon, you find the glass version of these weapons if you don't have them. And all it is letting you have these items so that way you can complete the dungeon. And then
Okay.
and then upon death, they shatter.
Okay, that's cool. That's pretty smart too.
Yeah. And the dungeons are randomized, but they're there's a set number of randomization stuff in there, so like the you go into one room, it's never going to be the same room you go into if you die and come back in later.
Yeah.
But you'll end up seeing that same room again within. There are a set number of rooms, so you're probably going to see that room again multiple times on one visit anyway. But it just will never be in the same place.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's at least 4 main dungeons, then there's all these mini dungeons you can do, and then there's the final dungeon, which I've only gotten 2 of the medallions from the 2 of the 4 main dungeons. So I don't know if maybe it's a 5th dungeon or something. I'll find out, I guess.
To be continued.
Yeah. Any questions on this game?
Do you have a potato flute?
I did get a flute that lets me do a thing to traverse certain areas with a helper. And you can find potatoes and you can grow potatoes.
Then I'll have to play it.
It really is a fun game. If you like those top-down Zeldas, I think it's a game that you'd really enjoy.
Then I probably will. Well, I mean, I definitely will.
And it does have like a set order to having to do stuff. You can't just skip ahead and do things, so you have to consider that as well. Whereas like more of the recent Zeldas, it's like, all right, just go to start whatever dungeon you want now. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just rent whatever item you need to get to the dungeon you want to do.
oh, and when playing the game, you also have to upgrade your equipment that you've obtained over time, like your sword, your health, your magic. You'll have like your bow and stuff. You have to upgrade all that. And so the gems that you acquire in the dungeon,
Mm-hmm.
you only get gems in the dungeon. You can get gold coin anywhere, which is used for purchasing like furniture for your house, and you can actually use it to purchase like or to open chest in the dungeon, big gold chest, so you get a bigger gem payout.
Mhm.
But the gems they're used for buying all your upgrades for everything. So you go into a dungeon, they're gonna say, "Hey, you're gonna have to pay. If you have gems, you're gonna lose them before you can come in." And say, "All right, well, here." So it's like make the most of what you have before you go into a dungeon.
Yeah.
So you like if you die in a dungeon, you just come back to. If you're in single player, you're gonna wake up in your bed on the next day, and you have all
Just
your
like
gems
Harvest
and everything.
Moon.
And I think there's like a text dialogue thing that happens. It's like, wow, you came walking back here last night, and I'm just going off of like the brief little bit I got to see on there because I didn't really pay attention. So it seems like you have like some goddess protection, so she makes you just walk back on your own, even though you're dead.
Yeah.
It's a really
Sleepwalking
fun
zombie.
game. Yeah, there we go.
So,
So again, yeah, Rogue Heroes, Ruins of Tassos,
not tacos, Cole.
$20 on Steam, and I hope it comes to consoles eventually because it's a fun game. If it's not on
It would
there
be really
already.
nice if it did. Like playing that with friends on Xbox or Switch would be really cool.
Yeah, it would be.
So, all right. For me this week, it's been mostly house stuff. I've been very busy taking care of things around the house and
Oh,
taking
I
care
thought
of
you
things.
I thought you were watching House.
No, I haven't watched House in a very long time.
Me either.
I thought there was a new house simulator out.
I need to play some House Flipper. It went on sale this week. I thought about grabbing it.
Yeah, I think it went
You
on
say
sale
how-
because there's like some new content or something on console for it, right?
Really?
I
Yeah, I
think
didn't
so.
know about that.
House Flipper?
Yes. It's like an HGTV home renovation show video game.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
It was like Flipper
it's
meets
flippers
house.
faster than
No, it's
lightning.
you buy a house in disrepair for a small amount of money. You fix it up and you sell it for a big amount of money.
Okay. Okay.
But
That makes
you can do that in the game, but they also have you just go and fix people's houses.
Yeah, they do that too.
And they had
So,
content like the garden
but you
and
get
stuff.
paid. You get paid for it.
You charge a lot of money. It's crazy.
So, but yeah, I've been doing mostly stuff around the house. So I haven't had a ton of time to play a lot of things. I've dabbled a little bit here and there. I played a little bit of Monster Hunter, like we did Monster Hunter on the Wednesday night stream. I played the first case in Ace Attorney. That's as far as I've gotten.
Nice.
I've done the basically the tutorial case, and I am 100% going to keep playing this game. I think I'm going to be taking my DS with me to work and playing on lunch breaks.
Good choice.
Because I want to play more of this game. I am glad you finally were like, hey, you should play this game.
What do you mean finally? I think I told you to play this like 5 years
You've
ago.
you've told me that a lot, and I finally listened to you. Is I guess the better way to say
Like
it.
you have access to my Steam library.
Yeah,
You've had
I
access
know.
to this game for a while.
I know, and I actually thought about downloading it on the PC and playing it, but I was like, no, I don't want to do that because I've already started it on the DS, so I don't want to have, I don't want to have to do the same stuff over again. So I'm just going to take my DS with me to work, because that was really fun playing through that first case. And I started the second one. I've done like 5 minutes of the intro is all. But like I can see myself having a ton of fun playing that. And I got the trilogy on the DS, so it was on sale for like $10 or something. So I bought that, and then I realized it was also on the Switch. I probably could have bought the HD version of it for the same price. But none of the kids really play the DS right now, so I don't have to worry about them getting mad if I take the DS with me to work and them
Right.
not having anything to play during the day. So, I expect there to be quite a bit of Ace Attorney in my future for the next few weeks.
You might be done with chapters 2 and 3 by then.
Maybe. We'll see. I also played a little bit of Punch Out today.
Oh,
I got
yeah?
the Wii U hooked up.
Nice.
Because Jake's been wanting to play Punch Out, and we hooked the Wii U up, put the disc in, and he ran right through the entire game, only lost one fight to Sandman, and then beat him the next time. And then I took over and didn't have nearly as much success. I think right now I am up to Super Macho Man, which is I think the next to last fight, but my record is 11-7, where his was like 12-1 when he finished the game, or 13-1 when he finished the game. So I made it through the minor circuit and the major circuit with no problems. Once I got to the world circuit, I've had a bit of trouble. I'm out of my Punch Out comfort zone, or my Punch Out, my muscle memory has left me. I need to build that back up if I want to finish those last two fights. So, and then gloriously lose to Glass Joe, because he puts on the protective headgear, and all of a sudden he knows how to fight really well.
Oh, yeah, he's got the glass jaws.
So, and I tweeted out today. I was like, playing this. I grabbed a picture of it while Jake was playing. I was like, I think Punch Out may be my favorite game on the Wii, just like straight up. That game was so good.
I'm really surprised that game came out with like a newer game on the Wii. Because just political correctness on everything these days.
Well, that's what I was like. I would really, really love a new Punch Out, but I think at this point, I was surprised it came out and it still had a lot of the the classic stereotypes for the characters. Then there's no way they'd do that now. It would be much more generic, and
Yeah, and they also have Adam Sandler in that game. It's crazy.
hey, if we could get a Bob Barker or Adam Sandler fight in there, I'd be all for it.
The price is wrong, Bobby.
Because that they did a phenomenal job of upgrading that NES game and making it feel right to people who played that game on the NES and the Super Nintendo, but still making it feel like a game that came out when it did on the Wii. And I would love and I think Next Level Games were the developers. I would love for them to be able to finally do another game, because it's been more than 10 years at this point since Punch-Out came out on the Wii. And
Wow.
I really, really want another Punch-Out game. So, but that's really been it for me. Hopefully now that we've got the old house for a couple of weeks still, so we're going to be going back and forth and doing some cleaning and things like that. So for the next couple of weeks, I may still be fairly light on the game playing, but once we've gotten completely out of the old house, I may finally be able to sit down and put some more time into stuff and play some stuff, because I've got Octopath Traveler downloaded and I really want to play that. I gotta play through Ace Attorney, so there's some stuff that I want to play. I want to get some time in Monster Hunter. It's just a matter of actually having the time to sit down and do it. So,
yeah.
But that is it for me. So let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll talk about the news. On this episode of the Procedurally Generated Show, Cole marries off several daughters in an attempt not to. Hold on.
That's right.
I think that sounds better than an attempt to not to. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
This is how we
On
do
this-
our outros. Or rather, our fun break. Our fun outtakes.
Our mid-rolls.
There we go.
I just realized that our episode is 1, 2, 3, and today is 4, 3.
Is 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, here we go. On this episode of the Procedurally Generated Show, Cole marries off several daughters in an attempt not to. Ethan lives, dies, repeats, and Tony objects to everything. We also talk about the week's biggest news, such as Sony publishing a game. That's not true. That's not right.
I didn't type that. I didn't do that.
It's gonna be a long.
Yeah, I wrote that. There we go. I'm just going to read that last sentence. Unless you want me to do the whole intro.
Clearly, you can see that in this statement, Tony perjures himself.
All right, one more time. The most surprising news story for me this week was, it came out of nowhere. I was not expecting this at all. I think this happened on Friday. The official Xbox Game Pass account on Twitter tweeted out that MLB The Show would be coming to Game Pass on launch day.
Weird.
And it sent the internet in a bit of a tizzy. You had a lot of people being like, yeah, this shows that Game Pass is the greatest thing, and now PlayStation needs to respond, and the console wars just got flared up all day Friday, and I was just like, this is stupid. But a game that was previously a Sony exclusive, one they touted having exclusivity of, and that is, the MLB Simulation Baseball license. There have been, arcade style baseball games, but full on Simulation Baseball has been a PlayStation exclusive for quite a while now. And, earlier or late last year, not late last year, but last year, when it was announced that if Sony wanted to continue to have the Major League Baseball license, they had to expand the game to other platforms. We knew it would be coming to Xbox, but now something has happened behind the scenes, and Microsoft has worked out a deal with the Major League Baseball, who is actually publishing the game on Xbox. Sony's not doing the publishing for the Xbox version of the game. But they have gotten that game on launch day on Game Pass. So if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you don't have to pay a dime to play the game.
Cool. Very cool.
So, and this will be for both Xbox One and Series X, not PC. So,
Sadly, I don't know why I'm trying to say different words at the same time, but sadly, that's a thing.
So, of course, it will still be available to buy on the Xbox if you want to actually purchase the game. But if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you'll be able to download it, play it day one with no problem. So, that was super exciting for me. I usually pick up the baseball games about halfway through the baseball season after they've gone on sale.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I'm usually a little late to the baseball game, so to speak. But I will definitely be doing it day one this year and playing online with people. So, but this also means now that Game Pass has, it has football, soccer, basketball, boxing, MMA, and now baseball, I believe, and hockey. So all of that is available on Game Pass right now. So if you're a sports game player, Game Pass is a wonderful thing to have at the moment.
It pretty much covers all your needs, almost.
So once they get a bowling game on there, you'll be all set. Oh, and you can also play cricket on there. So there is a cricket game on Game Pass as well. So for our European and Asian listeners, there you go. But that's not all that Microsoft has said is coming to Game Pass, because this week they also, just out of the blue, announced that they are going to start putting Xbox and Xbox 360 games on the cloud version of Game Pass. So
on the cloud version. Okay. Oh,
yes,
the mobile thing.
Yeah, the mobile for Android users. If you are a Game Pass subscriber on Android, you can play, I think it's 16 original Xbox and Xbox 360 games, some of them with touch controls added. So as of right now, you can play Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Double Dragon Neon, Fable 2, Fallout New Vegas, Gears 2, Gears 3, Gears Judgment, Jetpack Refueled, Cameo, Perfect Dark Zero, Morrowind, Oblivion, and Viva Pinata and Viva Pinata Trouble in Paradise. Those last two have had touch controls enabled, so you can play on your phone without even having a controller for those.
We get Morrowind and Oblivion, but we don't get Skyrim.
Well, it's already on the cloud version of Game Pass.
Okay.
Because it's on Xbox One.
That makes sense. Okay.
So, you can play the entire Gears of War franchise on your phone now. So,
that'd be cool. So you want to play Skyrim with touch controls?
Yes. I want Skyrim to be available on everything humanly possible.
I mean, it's getting there. It's getting there. I've actually thought, now that I have an hour-long commute to work every day, I've thought about playing the Alexa version of Skyrim on my drive to work.
You totally could.
I played it a few times.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's pretty good to hear Skyrim Narrated by Alexa.
There are other games that could be better played through that, but if you played something similar to what Cole has been playing, that would be a game to fill that same need.
Yeah. There's one that I played. It came out, I think, last year, maybe the year before that. But it has like Nathan Fillion and I think Laura Bailey and a couple other big people doing voice work for it. And it's like a full-on single-player RPG set in space. The first chapter was available for free, and I played it, but I haven't picked up the rest of it. It's like $8 or $9 to get the entire game. So I need to go back and find that and play through that because that was a lot of fun too. Actually, it would do all the dice rolls for you and all that, and just let you pick the actions that the
Starfinder?
characters took. That's it. Yes.
Yep, it's on the Amazon device I will not say the name of out loud.
Oh yeah, I should probably mute mine so that way it doesn't say anything during the show. I usually do, and I hadn't done it yet. So
Allegra?
but yes, if you like some of those old games, and I saw a bunch of people tweeting out pictures of like, them playing Morrowind or Oblivion on their phones. And they have said that there will be more coming because they want to make sure that you have access to your backwards compatible library on whatever you're playing it on. So, right about the exact same time that Sony announced they're closing all of their stores for their old systems and Nintendo took Mario off of the eShop, Microsoft is like, hey, here's some old games for you to play. Excuse me?
What?
Sorry, you said Oblivion on your phone, and that's the first thing that came to mind. Is
Oh,
I'm gonna be hearing this everywhere I go.
That may be true.
okay. Well,
And then the last little bit of news this week is that a couple of major video game events have announced that they will be online this year, and that is TGS, which is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year. But they have announced that TGS will take place between Thursday, September 30th, and Sunday, October 3rd. But the entire thing will be online. They'll have interviews with developers, game previews. They're trying to find a way to make sure that they can get some demos online. So they're going to give you all of the stuff you would expect from Tokyo Game Show. You will not have anybody there in person this year. It will all be online. And then the other one is the E3 has been announced that it will also be online this year, and that you'll be able to watch the event for free.
Ooh, that's something I can afford.
So yes, that is a great price.
You know what else is free and is a great price?
What's that?
The podcast.
You're right. The podcast is now available on a lot of stuff, or will be very soon.
yeah, we got like a 2 to 3 week wait period on most of that stuff for approval.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. But yes, and again with E3, we don't have. They tweeted out this week that they're going to be making some announcements about E3 in the next few weeks. I would expect it at the same time it's always been, that first week of June. That just seems to make sense. But again, they are going to try to do the same thing that Tokyo Game Show is doing. Maybe there'll be some demos that will be available for players to play. interviews with developers, game previews, all of that stuff will be done online. I think Nintendo has done that for a while now, or for the last couple of years, where they haven't really been at E3. They've just hosted their own separate events at the same time. I would imagine we'll see quite a bit of that as well from other developers and publishers.
Mm-hmm.
So, look to the internet for all of your video game expos this year, except E3 is taking expo out of their name.
They're replacing it with Eggman.
No, unfortunately not. The Electronic Entertainment Eggman would be great, or the Eggman Entertainment Expo would be even better. No, they are changing the name, at least for this year, from the Electronic Entertainment Expo to the Electronic Entertainment Experience.
Okay, I'm good with that.
That sounds like a band.
Doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
Electronic Light Orchestra or something. No, it's the Electronic Entertainment Eggman. I mean,
Just
you're
falling back to
stuck-
your default option there, man.
You're stuck on the Eggman thing.
the Eggman the excellent Eggman experience. That's what you said. Experience, so that's what it's got to be.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, but yes, Ethan or Cole mentioned a minute ago that the podcast is now available in audio form for free right now from Podbean, and you can also get it on Amazon. Ooh, I wonder. I should do this live on the show right now.
Okay, do it.
I wonder if it'll happen. Alexa, play the procedurally generated show.
Sorry.
Ah!
Sure.
It didn't work.
Ask
why
her
we
to
don't
search
think
for
live.
it.
Alexa, search for the procedurally generated show.
I can't do that on this device. I
Why
found
not?
a Fire TV device.
A Fire
Would you like
TV
to use
device.
that?
What?
Yeah,
No.
you can listen to our podcast on Fire TVs now.
Okay.
Apparently you
Use
can.
Echo to control your Fire TV. Just go to the TV and video section
Okay,
of
please
settings
shut
in
up.
the Alexa app.
Thank you. But yes, it is available on Amazon. I think both through Amazon Music and Audible, we found out.
Hold on. I'll just bring up the website thing.
Is that right? I'm also pulling up.
Only one of us can be logged in at a time, so I will stop what I'm doing. Let's see. It's Amazon and Audible. It's also should be on iHeartRadio.
Yes, it is.
We're still waiting on the Apple approval. We're waiting on. What else are we waiting on?
Google Play.
Google Play.
It has been submitted to Google Play, and there was one other one that we needed to wait on. Pandora. Pandora.
So yeah, we're covering a lot of areas this time, and
We're gonna be there.
And it should work out a lot better since the problem last time was like the cost of running the website, storage, and uploading to to iTunes from there, and then iTunes was just problematic to begin with, so they were saying no, you can't have another podcast. It's too similar to everything else, and it's like no, this is a different. Anyway, we never got that sorted out, but going through Podbean, we get that taken care of ahead of time, and we have access to way more options to provide the show for people and for a lot less cost as well.
Yes, which was the main thing. The cost was the biggest thing for getting the show in audio form for quite a while.
Basically, we took a look at what the cost was versus what our listener count was, and we just couldn't justify it.
Yeah. So, but now we have found a way to bring that back, and I am very glad. I know we've gotten a couple of messages from people already that were very excited to see audio versions of the podcast again. So we will get that rolled out. We've also had some people ask if we would do older episodes of the show. That is something we will look at. Right now, we can't.
I actually want to say the answer is going to be no for a couple of reasons. One, I didn't keep the old files, and two, I'm not going to download them off YouTube.
Yeah, those would be the big hurdles. It would be possible, in theory, to download the shows from YouTube, pull the audio out, and put it up, but I don't know that we're going to do that. So
Yeah, it's just putting in a lot more work than what I would be willing to do at the current time.
So
I know that sounds petty, but I mean,
I'm not going to say no forever, but for now we will not be putting the older episodes up. We will just, from this point forward, be putting the new episodes up in an audio form.
There we go. Yeah.
There you go. That will be, I guess, it for the show this week. So thank you very much, Cole, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And Ethan, thank you as well.
I actually had something I was going to say, and that was like 3 days ago. I don't know what it was now.
Well, that is perfect. You'll remember right after we stop recording.
Yeah, but since I'm doing the editing, I always go in and put it in there later. But so it's not going to be until I'm done editing and it's uploaded, and I'll be I'll save it for next time. And then next time comes around, and I forget again.
Yeah. So, all right. There you go. We're done. Thanks for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can send us an email to procedurallygeneratedent@gmail.com or direct message us on Twitter @ProGenENT. Facebook users can join our Facebook group by searching for Procedurally Generated. You can subscribe to the audio version of the podcast by going to Podbean or by searching for us on whatever podcast app you prefer.